Well, it is exactly 4 p.m. on this 11th day of September 2023. And thank you very much for joining us here on Lookuptv just in time for trending news. And this comes on a day when the bipartisan talks have resumed at the Bomas of Kenya. Now, among other stories that we've prepared for you this particular evening, and remember you can watch this particular bulletin live across all our social media platforms at Lookuptv on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, as well as YouTube. Now, we kickstart our bulletin with their Lamu attack, and a number of Kenya Defence Forces soldiers were injured after running over an improvised explosive device in Lamu County on Sunday. Now, according to a statement from KDF on Monday, the officers were on patrol along the Milimani-Baure Road when they encountered the unfortunate incident. Part of the statement read, KDF condemns the criminals who disrupt movement and sabotage socio-economic stability in the area. Meanwhile, KDF has called on the residents to share any information on the criminals' identity and whereabouts while condemning such criminal activities in the nation. Now, moving forward, after a week-long recess, the National Dialogue Committee is back at the Bomas of Kenya for the bipartisan talks. The committee co-chairperson Kalonzo Musyoka says the talks took a break to allow members to participate in the Africa Climate Change Summit. Now, the committee had agreed on the order of priority of the issues to be tackled. They were electoral justice and related matters, outstanding constitutional matters, fidelity to political parties and coalitions, and law on multi-party democracy, entrenching funds into the constitution, and establishment of the entrenchment of state offices.
Of importance is to report that we have received the report on the submission of memoranda to the National Dialogue Committee, and as of the 10th of September, which was the deadline, the total number of memoranda that were received was as follows: hand delivered to Parliament buildings 29, hand delivered at Bomas of Kenya 5, via email 121, none via the post, so a total of 155 submissions that we have received, less what we call the double submissions, where you find they have submitted 2 copies, 13, so we have a total of 142 memoranda.
We have decided to have the next sitting of the committee. Had you mentioned that on Monday?
Yes.
The reason is simple. We don't want the country to get the feeling that we meet to adjourn every time. As you can see, dealing with 142 memoranda is quite a task. And we, immediately after this, the technical committees will go into session and do as much as they can, so that by the time we meet on Monday, it will be heavy engagement. We're even asking the members of the committee take it upon themselves to cut down on any possible travel, because time is restricted. It is strictly of the essence, so that we can try to do justice to the task ahead of us.
Now, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki on Monday held a progress and evaluation meeting with senior Immigration State Department officers led by Principal Secretary of the Department, Ambassador Julius Bitok, and Director General of the Immigration and Citizen Services, Evelyn Cheliget, to assess the progress of the processing of passports. This comes days after he assured the nation that the process will now be done hastily. Later, the CS toured the Civil Registry Services offices here in Upper Hill, Nairobi, to get a first-hand experience of persons seeking birth and death certificates for their loved ones. He directed the directorate headed by John Mwangemi to fast-track the issuance of the documents and improve customer experience.
Don't have queues. Is there a time when it's crowded?
Hi.
Even as we discuss the affairs of our country, we pray that you give us ideas, different situation that we are in. We are praying that the decisions we make this right last night didn't understand each other and intended that we proceed with the long agenda.
In a bid to empower women, initiatives have been taken in Kisii County to upscale women group activities for self-advancement and eradication of poverty. 120 women groups have been merged into a circle where they will be given capital generated from fundraisers to start viable ventures. Addressing the various groups at a fundraiser in Kisii County Assembly, Deputy Speaker, that is Jacob Bagaka, stated that women have not benefited financially from small-scale farming and therefore urged them to venture into commercial activities.
We are fundraising for 120 women groups for purposes of empowering them to be able to do business and go commercial. In the longest time, most women in this area have been able to do small-scale farming and are not able to get capital for their own growth. And so we have decided to bring together all the women in this particular ward into groups. Now we have 120 groups who will be merged to make what we call a circle for Masike West. And then we'll give them money to be able to start commercializing agriculture and being able to do business for purposes of educating their children and alleviating poverty.
I'm going to support you, to nurture you, but work behind the governor so that as you go forward, you will be able to come to Bogetutu, because for us, we have been leaders.
Crossing on to matters education, and the county government of Tana River has embarked on sponsoring the area residents to train in teaching and medical courses as a solution to the shortage of teachers and medical officers in the area. Now, the decision was arrived at following the mass exodus of non-local teachers posted in the area, which borders Garissa and Wajir counties, which are areas prone to insecurity. The move, which has been embraced by the area residents, has seen more than 80 students sponsored to join teacher training colleges, with 40 set to join Kenya Medical Training College, while 20 others will study education in various universities.
Kuna shida kubwa sana Tana River. Tukisema Tana River, Northern Kenya yote tuko na shida. Hasa katika shule za primary school. Vijana wetu hawajaenda training school ya walimu. Ndio maana kila siku shule za Tana River ziko na shortage ya walimu.
Mheshimiwa Aliwario ametufanyia kazi ya bidii sana ya kufundisha watoto shule. Ilikuwa hatusomi, naona kwetu ni misutu, vile tunaishi na ngombe, mfugo. Baadaye ngombe imeisha na sababu ya vita ya Orma na Pokom. Lakini saa hii tunashukuru amani imekuja. Tunajivunia amani kubwa ambayo tunatandaza kitanda tunalala kama hivyo. Na saa hii tuko na harakati ya kusomesha watoto.
Wale ambao kwamba walikuwa wameajiriwa kule wote wamekataa kwenda kwa sababu ya hali ya usalama. Wajue kwamba hali kama hiyo hata sisi hapa pia inatukumba. Kwa hivyo wale vijana wetu ambao kwamba leo wamebahatika kupata hiyo sponsor, waende wote, waende wasome na bidii ili warudi hapa na sisi pia tusikumbwe na shida kama hizo.
Still on matters education, the Department of Education in Bungoma County is keen on strengthening kindergarten education. Now, Education County Officer Nicholas Kiboi has indicated that the department has put measures in place to ensure that kindergarten students have a good opportunity to develop themselves academically.
Creative was an organization because you have had an opportunity to have a conversation with the department in the county, so that we can address the gaps that are existing in this county concerning early childhood education learning. We have a wide range of issues that we need to see that the department addresses to ensure that we have holistic skills learning, issues to do with infrastructure, improvement in our ECD centers, issues to do with the teachers. We have a very high pupil-teacher ratio of 1 to 50 instead of 1 to 25. We also have a gap in terms of availability of teaching and learning materials for learners to ensure that CBC, the delivery of the curriculum in our ECD learners is done effectively. So these are some of the issues that we have been conversing here since yesterday with the department, and we are happy as an organization because we have a commitment from the department that in the planning and the budgeting processes they are undertaking, they are going to factor in most of these issues. So as a BCCRN, we are happy and we promise that we are going to continue advocating for proper learning of learners in the ECD, which is the foundation of the CBC curriculum in our country.
Now, the residents of the Siguta area on the border of Turkana and Samburu counties have called on the government to intervene and solve the issue of insecurity in the area, saying that the possession of illegal weapons has contributed greatly to armed banditry in the region and livestock theft.
Ile kitu ambacho inasumbua watu ni bunduki. Kwa hiyo watu wawili wote, Pokot na Turkana. Serikali ingekuwa na uwezo wa kutoa bunduki, sisi tungeishi na amani. Kwa sababu saa hii vile tuko katika nchi ya Turkana, ile kitu imetoa Pokot kutoka kwao mpaka kwa nchi ya Turkana kilomita karibu 100 ni bunduki. Kwa sababu hakuna chief au watasikia chief kwa sababu wako na kitu ambayo wanategemea. Sasa hiyo kitu ingetoka, sisi tutapata amani ya kudumu. Tena serikali yako na uwezo wa kutoa bunduki haramu. Kwa sababu tuko na NVR ambaye serikali alipatia bunduki. Kwa nini bunduki ilipatiwa NVR na bunduki iko msituni nyingi? Sasa hata hawezi sikia, hata hawezi ona hiyo ya serikali, wanapita juu kwa sababu yao imekuwa nyingi. Kila mtu ako na yake. Kwa hivyo hiyo ikitolewa katika hii area, hata saa hii tukifanya hii amani mpaka iwe namna gani, lakini bunduki halali kwa nini? Kwa nyumba lazima atembee, lazima aende wizi, lazima auwe. Kwa hivyo bunduki ni mbaya, bunduki ni adui.
On to matters of farming, and farmers in the western region have been called upon to shift from conventional farming to agroecology. Now, John Masharia, Schools and Colleges Permaculture Program National Coordinator, says that agroecology deals with indigenous food crops that withstand harsh climate conditions, saying that it will be a good fit for farmers in the region.
John Masharia, nafanya kazi na shirika la Scope, Schools and Colleges Permaculture Program kama National Coordinator. Na katika Scope tunafanya kazi na mashule pale ambapo tuna introduce mambo ya ukulima shuleni, upandaji wa miti, environmental conservation, kwa sababu tulikuja kujua kuna wanafunzi wengi ambao wako affected na food and nutrition insecurity na ambayo inadhuru ama ina affect masomo yao. Na kwa hivyo tukaonelea jukumu mzuri ama jambo mzuri ni kuja shuleni tupatane na stakeholders ambao ni wanafunzi, walimu na wazazi, na ili tuweze kutumia zile resources ambazo wako nazo, ikiwa ni maji, kuna shamba na kuna pia reba, na pia community inapeana seedlings na seeds za kupanda. Na tukishafanya hayo yote, shule inakuwa inaweza kuzalisha chakula na wanakuwa na a sustainable feeding program pale ambapo wanaweza pata chakula na lishe yao ambao wanahitaji.
Let's get sporty, and national women's football team Harambee Starlets are readying themselves to play in the group stages of the Women's African Cup of Nations qualifiers. The Beldin Odemba-led side will play Indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon on the 2nd and 26th of this month in Yaoundé, Cameroon and Nairobi, respectively.
Open. I'm not going. Press.
Well, those are just some of the stories that we had for you in this particular hour on the 11th day of September 2023, but do stay with us because we'll be coming to you with more detailed reports on various stories, the top among them the bipartisan talks and the investigations regarding the world coin registration here in the country, which is currently ongoing in the parliament chambers here in the capital, Nairobi. But until then, you can visit our website www.lookuptv.co.ke just to get an overview of the stories making headlines across all the 47 counties of the Republic of Kenya. But until then, do have yourself a lovely evening, and like always, God bless.